Hey guys, it's Tuesday morning and it's before noon, and I will probably post these updates a little earlier, but I really wanted to spend the morning going through the entire first discussion and leaving you guys some audio comments so that way I could get a better sense for what I should include in this update. So if you go into like modules or whatever, wherever you want to access grades for that for that first discussion, you'll see complete, and then you can look at the submission comments, and there will be a hyperlink in there, and you copy and paste that, and you can listen to me babble about the strengths and weaknesses of your posts and give you guys some guidance. But collectively, I want to point out some things that are going well that I want to keep seeing in the coming discussions. So first of all, you guys are doing a great job of just answering the questions in general from your own viewpoint. And then secondly, providing specific references to the texts. I want to, like the reading or this next week, not just the reading, but the watching or the listening that when I share additional resources. So it's really important that you like braid together those general answers and specific references to the text. I don't need to see like full sentence quotes from the text itself, but sometimes short quotes would be nice, like a word or 3 words, some kind of phrase that the author uses, because when you do that, it calls to mind the entirety of the idea that phrase represents and helps us to think more precisely about what we're responding to in regards to the reading or watching. And then the third thing that you guys are mostly doing, but again, I want to point out, is making sure that in that braiding of general answers and specific references, that you're also braiding in value statements. So that's where you say, this is what's going on, and this is what the text points out. And then you step back and you ask yourself, how do I feel about that? And add in those value statements, or you could call them opinions. I'm asking multi-part questions, and the reason is that it's hard to have a meaningful discussion if there's not like nuance or depth. And so I could try to crunch it down into a single question, but it just seems easier for it to have multi-parts. And I want you to think of it like connect the dots. So each question is a single dot, but once you answer all of them, you have a shape, and then we can fill it in and we can see something more complete and whole. So make sure that you're establishing an answer, like you're getting all of those points to create that shape. And then the last thing is, please don't be afraid to go rogue. So I can try to foresee as much as possible through my lens as the instructor what those layers of the question should be in order to produce a meaningful and interesting conversation. Sometimes I'm going to nail it. Other times I'm going to read your answers and think, yeah, that was a lame question. But sometimes you can sense that, and you feel that agitation in yourself where you're like, this should go here, but she didn't ask that. Please just go there, take the reins, and direct the conversation, because as long as we are having a conversation that is authentic and critical in nature and really causing us to think, and maybe even motivating us to want to get online and be a part of it, that is meaningful. And don't you want to do things that are worth your time? So help me out and be a part of that. One note about O'Brien before I move on. Part of the reason why I selected that text is obviously because of what he says about story truth. And I think with literature, we're reading fiction, which is by definition untrue. And in contemporary literature, we're using that untrue stuff as a way of examining what is true about the world around us. So keep thinking about that bigger picture question about the value of story truth being truer as we dive into fiction this, week and in the coming weeks. All right, so that has to do with the first discussion. And then there's that slides project I gave you, which I extended the deadline to today loosely. And I don't know what happened, guys. I just botched those instructions for you. First of all, I embedded the slides so you couldn't even copy them. Then I just didn't tell you really how to share them. And you guys, like 3 people have posted, and you guys seem really nervous about the whole thing. And that makes me feel very guilty. So I'm going to reflect on that and see what I can improve. And I do want to tell you that the share settings are a little messed up. So here's what I know. In order to share with each other, I think you guys already did that fine, but you go in and you change the share settings to anyone at Lower Columbia. So as long as you are logged in to your my.lowercolumbia.edu, you should be able to click on any of those links and see each other's work. You have to do a little more in order for me to be able to see them. I wanted to look at them this morning. You have to go in and invite and send an invite to my email, Lemire, Lemiere, at lowercolumbia.edu, because while all of you guys have my.lowercolumbia accounts, instructors don't, which is very lame. Hopefully today I will be able to make my own slides and I can get to know you guys and introduce myself. All right, beyond that, this Friday, you're going to reply to each other's slides. By the end of the day, I'll have some instructions about what those slides should be, but this is an important thing to note, especially for the messiness of this slides project, is that I really am easygoing. If it's not what I'm looking for, then we'll adjust and I'll give you what you need to meet the expectations next week. So try not to be nervous and try to just have fun and reach out to me if you guys need anything. But this Friday, you're going to reply to each other's slides. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to build some community. As well, we're going to dig into Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. I gave you guys a sneak peek, but now everything is published in modules and linked in this update. You are going to read pages 1 through 107 and answer questions 1 through 3. And so you'll do that by this Friday in a discussion post. And I have linked to like a lecture, and that's just like a website because it's easier for me to design in a website where I've provided all of the stuff for reading this book. There will be a project going along with that book, but it's not due until 2 weeks from now. So I'm going to spend the rest of the week really processing the instructions and trying not to make the same mistakes that I made with project number 1, because I want you guys to have fun and be excited about completing projects, as excited as students can be. And I don't want you to feel nervous or insecure. A little bit of like fear is probably healthy, but not the amount that I saw. So the last thing I want to say is about Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, because I have not said this anywhere else. And what I did last week at the end of the week is I watched the movie again. Movie is very different from the book, as it always is. And it reminded me how emotional this can be, this text. It comes off as playful, but the underlying themes are actually incredibly heavy. And that has to do with grief, because Oscar, his dad, dies in the World Trade Center. And I wanted to open up to you and share that it strikes me in a very personal way. So my dad died of cancer 5 years ago this summer, and it was really quick. It was like he got diagnosed at the end of spring quarter, and he died within 2.5 weeks. And fun fact, he worked at LCC, and he was a welding instructor here for 25 years. And I basically grew up in the halls of LCC. But he was very special to me, as dads can be. But then, like, you know, when you just love someone, like above all. And so reading and watching this text, I can like totally focus on the themes that I'm asking you guys to focus on, but it does get to me in a personal way. For me, because of where I'm at in my own process of grieving, it's like one of those experiences with literature that it's heartwarming and heart-wrenching, but it warms more than it wrenches, because it gives me that feeling of I'm not alone, right? And it puts to words, or it paints a picture of something that I'm living through. And so I find it to be like it unifies me with humanity. But grief is so individual, and everyone goes through it in their own way. And sometimes it's like there are these metaphors. It's like waves crashing over you, and that can make you feel like you're drowning or whatnot. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I don't know what you're going through in your personal lives, and literature can really, really agitate those things. And I wanted you to feel like I'm a welcome, approachable person if you are, feeling any of that and struggling with any of that as you read through the text. I just encourage you to reach out if you need a little help breathing through the text, so that I can I can relate to you, and I can refer you to any like additional services to like help you learn and heal at the same time. But that's what I have for you guys for this week, and keep your eyes out for maybe some more emails, just me trying to help guide and get us onto more stable, and get us cruising with some more stability. So yeah, I think it'll be a really fun week. You guys are a great group, and I feel pretty lucky to have such thoughtful and invested students to go through this literature experience with.